What's up, world? Welcome to a new episode of the BrandonJaneauShow. This is a very special Underdog to Success episode, man. I'm with one of the best podcasters out here. You know why? Because he talk about everything that I don't get a chance to talk about that I really always want to talk about. Uh, my guy, my guy Chris Ferry from the Blerdseyeview podcast. Man, tell them where they can find your amazing podcast, where they can follow you on social media platforms. Tell them where they don't understand how great your content is, man. Tell them where they can find all that great content. I don't get
Yo,
a chance to talk about it, so I love the fact that you get to talk about it. Go ahead and talk about it, man.
so you can find Blerdseyeview. We record and we go live every Tuesday on Facebook. So you go to Blerdseyeview Facebook page, the Blerdseyeview podcast Facebook page, or you can go to the YouTube page, Blerdseyeview, and you can catch us on IG as well, Blerdseyeview, all one word. And you can check out my personal IG page, which is Chris.Fury1. So I'm doing and both those links have or both those pages have the link tree in it, so you can just catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. We spreading it out. We're getting out there.
Yeah, man. Y'all get to talk about a lot of good things I don't get a chance to talk about, man. And one thing I
We
always
try.
want to talk about, I mean, listen, man, y'all doing a great job of it. Listen, I'll be watching y'all and be like, man, I want to talk about that so much. I'm like, I
Wait
want to
till
talk about
tomorrow.
it. Oh, it's going down. I already know. But you guys get a chance to talk about everything, man. Particularly, man, comic books, but more importantly, like movies, superhero movies. I love superhero movies. I grew up, in the '90s, so I got a chance to watch like the cartoon, Spider-Man and
Yeah,
all those
yeah.
amazing
Which
cartoons. And
one of our past episodes was literally 80s and 90s cartoons, the shows that made us, and that was just part one, because we are definitely going back and revisiting that to
y'all got. I want on. I don't know what I gotta do to get on, but I'm gonna get on.
I'll shoot you out of invite
Man,
when we
you
get
gotta
ready, when we
definitely.
get everything lined
Uh,
up.
man, because I grew up on the Superman comic cartoon. I grew up on the
Mm-hmm.
Batman. Like people forget, like Batman had a Dark Knight cartoon. People forget that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I remember that. Like I grew up on that. I grew up on Static Shock, which is one of my favorite
Mm-hmm.
cartoon characters still to this day. I can't
Those
wait.
were those were just two of the shows that were on our list. Between
Yeah, man.
myself, DC, and Candy B, uh, we all had that on our list. So we were just like,
Static
okay,
Shock, man.
somebody
Look,
else has got to pick something else. I'm like, so yeah.
Static Shock was just man. Look, man, that was like my Black Panther when I was a kid. You know what I'm
It
saying? For a
was
lot of
before,
years.
what a lot of people don't
Yeah,
understand is like Static was ahead of its time. Like it was under
yeah.
Milestone Media. It was under Milestone Comics, which is an offshoot of DC Comics, and it touched on real shit. It touched on real issues. The comic did, and it touched, and the show ended up doing the same exact
Same
thing, touching
thing.
on real issues. Dealing with gangs, dealing with bullying, dealing with here you had a single father raising his two kids, so it was, dealing with that, the parent aspect of it, dealing with a mother who had passed away, and just acceptance, and just talking to the girl, all the stuff that young Black kids go through. And it was addressed not only just in the comic, but in the show as well.
It was incredible. I literally when I started watching that comic, man, that I remember like when they used to premiere it, like
Mm-hmm.
preview it on like Saturday mornings. Like we were like, I'd be hyped for it because I'm like, man, I gotta watch this because like I've never seen a Black cartoon character. I've never
Right.
seen it. At that time in my life, I had never seen it. Like
I
so,
think up
like
until
and I
that point, at least for us at that generation, that was what we had. Like prior to that, and it was a smaller cartoon. It was it Dynaman and Micro Woman, or Microman, or something like that. And it was a married Black couple, and they solved crimes, but they had superpowers. And it was like from the 70s. And it was like one of them shorts. It was like the Harlem Globetrotters. They had one, and,
yeah, I
and that
remember
was like
that.
during the late or the early 80s and stuff like that, where they had like screwball powers and stuff. But
Yeah,
we have them, but like it wasn't until like actually Static Shock, when it dropped, that it really kind of opened up a lot of doors for Black cartoon characters, you know, and a lot of
Yeah.
people don't recognize it. Like we even spoke recently on Blerdseyeview that no, I actually wasn't even Blerdseyeview. It was someone I was speaking with. And I said, not a lot of people understand, like when Justice League was premiering and Justice League Unlimited, people that read the comics, they know who Hal Jordan is, they know who Alan Scott is, but it wasn't until Justice League and Justice League Unlimited that people worldwide were being introduced to John Stewart. Like I knew who he was, but now you actually get to see John Stewart in action. It was like, so now when they say, oh, Green Lantern, John Stewart, that's the first thing they go to. That's the first. They don't think about nobody else. They think about John Stewart, so, and it goes and shout out to Phil Lamar for being a staple in my freaking childhood as far as voice work and acting and comedy work. So, who I had an absolute blast interviewing, and I'm trying to get a hold of him again. But so I love watching those cartoons and reading those books. And I spoke at a panel this past weekend here in Ohio, and it was a panel for it was people of color and geek culture, and it was basically a blurred panel. And it was me, Mark Cooper, Juice Lee, and Kylan Toles, and we were talking about what it means for us to be in this culture and what it means for us to be as Blerds. And for those who are listening, Blerds are Black nerds, and it's okay. We're at a stage now in this life where it's okay to admit, like, you watch anime, you watch Justice League, you read comics, you cosplay, is okay, and we're not chided for it. If anything, we're applauded for it.
Appreciated for it.
And even though there's people on the other side who like, well, this person isn't Black, and we put those folks to the side and we leave them out there, and because we've got an answer for you, but we're not trying to do that here in that venue, so like, we're not trying to handle you like that. So it does a lot for us and our community and our culture to actually provide a safe space, which is why I created Blur. The original idea of Blerdseyeview was for me to talk about comics. I've been around comics all my life, and it was originally to talk about comics and do a review here and there, just have a little fun with it, right? But then the community was growing, and I realized that the show was growing its own legs. And I said, I can do much more with this. So I decided to make it a safe space and showcase other POC cosplayers, POC writers, POC artists, phone-smiths, you name it. And they've come on the show and just blew it out the water. Black plus size female cosplayers, Black male cosplayers, I've had Smoke on a while back, and I've had I haven't had Hellspawn on yet, but I have spoken to him. Me and him talk on the regular. But yeah, trying to show, and that's another thing, like Black female plus size cosplayers, or Black femmes, showcasing them more, because now that's the next stage, is like, oh, she can't do that because she's this size. And and for the record, don't act like you don't like some of that cushion. Don't act like that. Don't act like that. That's not cool. Don't deny yourself. We know what it is. We know what it is.
You said something earlier, man. Justice League.
Yeah.
I couldn't get into the Justice League. I loved that Green Lantern was Black. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only thing about Justice League that I loved. But other than that, I grew up on Super Friends. So I grew up on Wonder Twins, when Robin was with Batman and Superman, Green Lantern. Like, I grew up on Super Friends. So it was hard. It was hard for me to get into Justice League because I just couldn't wrap my head around, like, what? Y'all talk Rodman and he's now on Teen Titans. Like, I was like, all right, I watch Teen Titans. I was like, I watch Teen Titans, but I'm not watching the Justice League. I couldn't fucking get with it. I don't know what it was. It just didn't, like, it didn't get me. I love Green Lantern was Black. And I love when Green Lantern actually came on Static Shock. That was like the dopest episode I've ever seen. Like it was so cool to see like them two like do something together. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool.
And the fact that he showed that he looked up to him, like he's like,
yeah,
you're like a mentor to me, like, and like John is kind of little like, calm down, kid, you know, because he wasn't used to that. He wasn't used to it, you know. But you know, it speaks to us, you know. It's just like, yo, here it is. This kid, he's really like into this hero. Like, yeah, he knows Batman. That's dope. He knows Superman. That's dope. He knows Wonder Woman. But you're
hero,
you're me. That's what he said. That's how he looked at it.
Like when he went, like when Static Shock went to like the future and met the old, like the future Static Shock. I thought that was like a dope episode.
When they realized he was the asset, when they realized he was the asset they were going after, and he like, yo, I become that guy. Yeah. You know, you the man now. So Justice League really did it did wonders for DC animated films. You know, even though it was just a show, it really did show, like the Batman show, the animated show pretty much showed that we can go dark and still tell a good story in half an hour. So then when they went on and they did Superman and did the same thing. But when they did Justice League, they said, yo, we can tell all types of stories now in this half-hour block. And then when they said, they just really started lining it up, and like, now let's do the movies. Let's do these animated movies. And DC animated films, bar none, are great.
Animated movies are incredible. I don't know what the fuck happens when they actually make it live action. I don't know what happens. Like they completely missed the fucking mark.
No one knows. It's like how did you miss that? Like you take the same formula you have over here, you use it over here.
Now it's the
same property.
Man of Steel and Dark Knight. I was like, those franchise, like that Man of Steel, the first Man of Steel. I can't get into the Batman Superman movie. That shit just, I don't know. It's just something weird about it. It's weird. Like it's
it was forced.
Yes.
It was forced.
It was so forced.
It was Spider-Man 3 all over again. It was forced.
We talk about the one with Tobey Maguire, right?
Yeah, it was forced.
I feel so bad.
I remember Man of Steel being dropped, and you know the fan base was split, you know, because of what happens in Man of Steel, what he has to do to Zod. I'm like, well, you got to think, you know, this is his first time out like this. This is his first time seeing someone like himself. How does he stop that? You know, no matter what he was doing, he was like, well, I'm causing more damage trying to stop him. I have to take him down. And that's why when he broke his neck, spoiler alert, because the movie's been out long enough.
If you have not seen the first Man of fucking Steel, this ain't no spoiler alert. Your ass just way behind. Right?
You're just way behind. But he breaks his neck. But that's why he lets out that primal ass scream, because he's never had to take a life. And here it is. This was something he never wanted to do. This is something he did out of almost necessity. And he did it. And I agree with you. BVS is hard to watch. What saves BVS is Wonder Woman.
Thank God.
That's what saves BVS. But that's all. And it's only because her scenes. It's what people just watch her scenes. Badass woman shows up, cleans up the shit, and then the rest just kind of falls flat.
And on top of
that and
on top of that, like
Man of Steel, the
Man of Steel movie, like I like the fact that they did use Zeus, because I didn't like the Man of Steel movie when I was a kid. Like when they put Zeus in the damn movie back in the day, like I thought that was like a terrible casting. Like, am I tripping? Like there was a
you talking about for Zod? You talking about for Zod?
Yeah, the Zod. Yeah, for Zod. Yeah. I was like, that was a terrible casting. The dude
was weird. You know what? Michael Shannon always looked like he had snuff in his mouth or something. I don't know, like chewing tobacco in his gums or something. I don't know. I don't have nothing against him. It's just every time I see him and he talks, it just looks like he has like something in his bottom jaw. I don't know. But I've seen so much happen with just recently an article was dropped about Man of Steel. And one of the, I think it wasn't Zack Snyder, it was one of the other people that was working on this film, one of the bigger people, not an actor, but one of the people behind the scenes. And they were called, I think it was the writer. That's who it was. It was one of the writers, and David S. Goyer. That's who it was. It was David S. Goyer. He was called to one of the execs office to talk about Man of Steel. And they talking about the scene where they use Superman's ship that he came in as a child and using it as basically a weapon to take down the weapon that Zod is using to terraform the Earth. And the exec looks to David S. Goyer in the face and he says, well, why doesn't Superman just use the ship to go back home? And David S. Goyer said, now, let's put this in context here. There are people who have never read a Superman comic, yet they know the origin. He was shot here. He was sent here as a child. His planet was destroyed because it was imploding. That's the short version. Mm-hmm. So when this exec said that to David S. Goyer, David S. Goyer looks at him and he says, he knew this was going to be a problem for this film. He knew these were one of the issues for the film. He says, but he looks at him, he says, you mean the planet that we spent the first half hour talking about that exploded? And he just left it right there on the table. And he just said, it just goes to show you. I'm like, yeah, this was the problem with WB live action DC movies. This was the problem with the DCE.
It's so
because it's the wrong people in charge of the wrong stuff. I've often said that like the Justice League live action film, the first round, which was Joss Whedon, and it was crap, and we all know it was crap. Yet when the story comes out that the reason why Zack Snyder left that film was because his daughter had committed suicide. So the WB executives, they were going to fire him anyway. They used his daughter's passing as the excuse to because it was kind of like I want to say happy accident, not for that situation. It was just coincidental. So here it is. We got that crap version that Whedon put out. And then here it is, years later, fans are banding together on Twitter, and they're saying, release the Snyder cut, because we're seeing like images and storyboards of stuff that we did not get. And then we finally get, WB decides, okay, we're going to hire the guy back. So you had to pay him $70 million anyway to come back, finish the film, which turns out to be 4 hours long. I'm okay with that because we had just finished watching Endgame. And
we're gonna get to Marvel late. We're about to get to Marvel real soon. But finish the story.
Yeah, but we get a 4-hour film, and it's way better than what we expected. It was so much better. And then they, people that were complaining like, oh, it's too long. I'm like I said, Endgame came out like a year before. And that was 3 hours. So we got the Snyder cut of Justice League on HBO Max. So you have the option of pausing and going to the bathroom. I don't want to hear that excuse. So
go get something to eat.
You had time. But it was so weird. But it was refreshing to see what we missed, what we got. And you're looking back and you're looking at WB like, what the fuck? You could have gave us this the first time. You made the money you made in the 3.5 months that the first version was in the theater. The money you made should have been the money you made in its entire run. The first time in the theater was the money you should have made in the first month. You made 800. You made over $800 million. That should have been your first run, your first month. You had an option. You could have split it up in 2 parts. You had an option and you screwed yourself. And now the fans are just like, yo, why didn't you give us this? Why didn't you give us the story about Cyborg? Why didn't you? And all this time, Ray Fisher, we didn't know what he was talking about. And I'm just like, yo, hear the brother out. Something going on. Because I'm like, he has nothing to lose. Because I've never seen him in anything else. So I'm like, I doubt he's trying to destroy his career. So, and here it is.
I mean, I remember like wasn't Cyborg a part of the Teen Titans? I know I wasn't tripping. Cyborg was a part of the Teen Titans. Right?
Originally he was, but over the past couple of years in comics, they even in animated versions, they've kind of moved him up to one of the team members of Justice League because he's tech. He's tech, so, and he serves a stronger purpose. And it shows like in a lot of animated films and a lot of animated shows, it shows his purpose. And even in the comics, it shows his purpose. So he's kind of advanced, because generally that was the idea of Teen Titans. These were the sidekicks to the main heroes or whatever, or heroes that's trying to come up. So it's just like you got moved up from the minors to the majors. That's what you got, So.
Yeah, I try to watch like Young Justice League. I was like, yeah, this is not for me.
No, that's the good
I haven't
stuff.
watched it. It's good.
That's the good stuff.
I know Static Shock is in it. But
yes, he shows up. They just dropped the 4th season. He shows up third season. He shows up 3rd season. He has a couple scenes. He's not a prominent member because he's the up and comer. He's an up and comer, but but very diverse cast. Very diverse cast. Very diverse characters. So they did not pull any punches. That's some good stuff. Young Justice is some good stuff.
I gotta go watch it now. I gotta go watch it because now you're telling me I gotta go watch it. I'm gonna go watch it. I gotta watch it now.
Yeah.
Talking about up and coming Marvel, man. Marvel is just a different type of level of movies, comics.
Yeah.
It's just a different.
They've got a handle on some things. Let's put it that way.
I mean, they just released their schedule for the upcoming years. That's how you know you're good.
They shipped it. They shifted their schedule.
Yeah, they pushed them back,
but for good reason. It turned. A lot of people was like, "Oh God, they got worried about the Batman trailer." No, that's not. They're like, no, trust me. They're not 11 years in the game with 25 movies now, and then all of a sudden they're worried about Robert Pattinson. Nah, that's not how that works for them.
And I'm gonna ask you about that later because I saw the Batman trailer yesterday and I was like, wow, this actually looks fucking good. Yeah, me too.
I was like,
oh shit. I was like, DC.
I will shut up. I will wait.
I was like, March 4th? I'm like, yo, I might have to be in that bitch. I'm not having to go and actually see this. I'm like, yo, no, DC might got one. Finally.
Yeah.
Shit, it took them a while. but Marvel, man. Marvel, like we said, man, Marvel is just on a different level of comic books, movies, everything, man. They're different than anything, man. And, when I first started watching Marvel, Iron Man, of course, was like my first really movie I watched. Right. Captain America, the first one I watched, I wasn't really like into it like that. And then as it progressed, like everything, Captain America, it had to progress. It wasn't just like, you wasn't interested into the character until like the second movie. Like you're like, when Winter Soldier came on, you're like, all right, I can kind of get into this now. I can understand this now. But Iron Man
still like a bomb ass movie. That Winter Soldier, that is that's a piece of work.
That and Civil War, them 2 movies, Captain America, different. The first one, yeah.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I get it. This is your origin. It's not horrible because it's a setup, and I get that. It's a setup, but I think it comes with weight because everybody's like, "Oh, Chris Evans. Oh, he's playing Captain America now. He's not Human Torch anymore, you know.
Which
And
oh my god,
and I've
we're
often
not about,
said
we're
that
not listen,
I've often
listen,
said
listen. We cannot
we're
even
not meant.
talk
That's
about the
Fox.
Fantastic Four. We're not gonna talk about Fantastic Four.
That's
Like
Fox.
they Marvel. We've been hearing some things, man. You might get a
Oh,
Fantastic Four
Kevin
from
Feige
Marvel.
already announced it. They're doing it.
Oh, the
They're
Fantastic Four
doing
coming
it.
to Marvel? Finally.
Feige
Good
already said
God.
it out his own mouth. He said they're doing it.
Oh my
They
god.
this is what happened. This is what happened. Fox had all the mutant properties, the Fantastic Four properties, Prince Namor. They had all that because years ago, Marvel had to sell some properties off because to come out of bankruptcy. They were in bankruptcy. The company was. So they had to sell some of their movies off, you know, some of their properties off for movie rights so they can gain some money back. So, you know, they sold off the Blade property. They sold off like Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Daredevil, all of them. So they were all at these different parent companies. You know, Hulk was at Paramount. Spider-Man was at Sony, still is at Sony. Ghost Rider, Deadpool, the Mutants, Fantastic Four, all of them, they were at Fox Studios. So everybody was spread out. And basically the deals go like this. You have to make X amount of movies by certain characters every so often. If you don't make it within this time frame, then it expired, then the deal expires, and then the properties go back to its original owner. Cool. They didn't sell off the Iron Man property. That was their gamble. So
hell of a
they
gamble.
said, okay, yeah, hell of a gamble. So they
hell
was like,
of a gamble.
We'll take the. They was like, we'll sell off this one, this one, this one, this one. Blade made them money. X-Men put them in the park. Spider-Man put it over top. Now, granted, those other studios, they got money, but it was just like, yeah, but you still got to pay Marvel some of this little money. So they like, we'll take this little money, and we'll go ahead, we'll make this Iron Man movie. Nobody's expecting that. And then we'll go after somebody nobody expects. But the fans who has followed Robert Downey Jr. in his career, first thing they said was, that's a damn good pick. Because Iron Man has a lot of alcohol issues and everything else in comics. Robert Downey Jr. has had run-ins with the law and everything else. And I'd be damned if he didn't fit the bill. Like even outside of him playing Tony Stark, he really is Tony Stark.
You can't tell me no different.
It's just like when they announced Ryan Reynolds is playing Deadpool, they were just like, who the fuck else was gonna play Deadpool?
Play Deadpool, like he was already
like
Deadpool.
Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. What are you talking about? So
he was already Deadpool in X-Men. It made total sense.
I mean, he did the most Deadpool thing ever to make Deadpool. He was like, I'm gonna leak the test footage of my own movie. Just so the studio can see, hey, this thing might get us some cash. So that was the most gangster thing I've ever seen. Anyway, he's like, I'm gonna leak the test footage. Nobody knew who leaked the Deadpool test footage. Nobody knew. And then when they finally got greenlit and everything else, he was like, hey, I did it.
I'm so happy he didn't go back and do Green Lantern. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, when you can poke fun at yourself,
about
something like that.
That movie was so terrible. I mean, he got his wife out of it, you know, but other than that, that movie it was
he did. He got his wife out of it. That was the only
good thing you can say about that movie. Like, I got a wife out of it, but that's about it.
That's all I do.
But Iron Man, I think that's my favorite character. I think out of superheroes, like that's my favorite character. And I've watched clips. I went back and watched the first Iron Man and like clips of every other Iron Man movie or things he's done. Like when I remember when Mickey Rourke was in Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
And he was telling them,
two.
Yeah, when he was telling them like if you can make God bleed, they will respect him less or something like that. And then you see him fight Thanos. And and then he fights Thanos in Infinity War, and he makes him bleed.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about these Marvel films. All right. and shows. Let's start there. These son of a bitches know how to tug at a heartstring. I did not.
Don't bring it up. Don't do it. Don't talk about that, man. Man,
it's not that. It's not that. It's not just that.
Oh man,
it's not just that. See, now I have three characters who I die hard been following all my life.
Okay.
Black Panther, Captain America, Spider-Man, because all three of these guys represent what I feel is me. You know,
he got a Spider-Man shirt on. That's how you know he loves Spider-Man.
Oh yeah. Where I got like 8 Black Panther shirts, so that it meets up with at least the standard. I stay in the graphic tees. There's no worries. But I remember being 12 years old and being introduced to Black Panther. I was 12, and my friends did not believe me. There was a black man who was a king who had more money than fucking Bruce Wayne and was out here busting heads. And then it happened. Like Wesley Snipes was talking about doing a film back then. That was like in the late 80s, early 90s. But it never came to, and
ended up playing Blade, which was incredible.
Yeah, ended up playing Blade. Perfect damn fit, you know. So it just goes down the line. You know, Captain America is literally what this country should be. Like he's what this country should be. He's standing for what this country should be. Like, listen to his speeches when he does in the comics. The speeches he does in the comics. He's damn near on the edge of saying fuck the government, which he's pretty much said.
He's done. He has done.
You know, he's like fuck the government. I don't need the shield. You're like, oh motherfucker, okay. Well, give us our shit back. He's like, I'll just go under a different name. He's like, I don't need the shield.
Again, go watch Winter Soldier. You will see him say fuck Hydro and everything they stand for, and he literally went against.
He was like, he went against shield and everything else. He was like, y'all pretty much the opposite side of what they are, you know. So he like, it's still, and he's always stood on that hill.
Yep.
Spider-Man is what every person in this country has done. You're trying to get a girl or guy. You're trying to stay in school. You're trying to pay rent. You're trying to keep a job. Who doesn't know what that's like? Those are everyday struggles. And he still manages to get up and take on one extra job, which is protecting people based off of one bad decision that he made.
Yep. But
remembering the outcome of that bad decision, you know.
Yep.
So, you know, following those three principles, those three guys and the principles that they stand for. And, you know, the only thing I'm upset with Black Panther is, damn it, you let Storm get away. However, when they around each other, oh, that shit goes down. Because he still got it for her and she still got it for him. You know, I'm consistently reading something Black Panther related. Like, without my banner in the background, you would see like my office is 90% Black Panther. But it's like there's like in the last run of Black Panther, there's this big war going on, you know, and pretty much when like Storm's his ride or die.
Pretty much.
That's who she is for him. And it's the same for her. And she found out that like he was in space and something happened and he lost his memory. But while he was out there losing it, he was getting flashes of his memory. And he kept saying every time he sleeps, he has a vision of this woman with white hair. He doesn't know who she is, but he has a strong connection to her. And so when he finally gets his memory back over the story arc and everything else, and this big battle breaks out and everything, and he's setting up, you know, Black Panther is a tactician at what he does. He has planning like down to a science. And he's planning, you know, he was like, okay, well, she's going to handle this part. She's going to take out this entire armada of starships. And they're looking at him like, can she do that? And he's like, yes, she can. And you're like, well, what if she needs her help? Trust me, she won't need my help. That's their relationship. He trusts that woman to handle her business, and she trusts him to do the same. And
wait,
they ain't got to worry about
X-Men?
Storm from X-Men. She
and
is that.
What?
She when I say ride or die, like if all hell breaks loose and she walk in the door, all that shit don't matter. and even when he shows up on the shores in New York or somewhere, he looking for her. That's not just the booty call, even though it do go down. That's the vibe. That's a vibe. They couple. They that's why I ship Storm and Black Panther. You got people saying Storm and Wolverine, which he don't care for Wolverine. He's whooped Wolverine's ass a couple times. Just on GP.
The Wolverine just on GP. That type of dude.
It's funny. It's funny when Storm shows up, and they ain't do nothing. She ain't do nothing with Wolverine, but he was near her, and he was like, because of his heightened senses, because of Black Panther's heightened senses, he's like, I smell that troll on you. I'm like, dude, yo, that's kind of creepy, man. You can't do that. And she was like, it's not what you think, so, but yeah, when I say ride or die, she's his ride or die, and so is he for her. And like, when you look at how they are around each other, you can't help say, that's black love. That's just what that is. That's black love. That's love, like,
Yo, man, Stan Lee, we need to get it. Yo, Stan Lee, man. I know he's not here no more, man, but man, he was just different with writing, like comic book mindset, everything.
Him, Jack Kirby.
Oh my god, the way this man like created things, like he knew this was coming. Like he knew how much this would affect culture.
Yeah. He was very much open for everybody having a seat at the table.
Everybody, man. And now we got like more movies coming soon. I mean, like so many things. And it starts with the Avengers, but the Avengers are so much deeper than just that. And there's so many things that they can bring back, and like eventually they're gonna bring back. Well, I don't want to give too much away, but you know more than I do about this. You know how they go. We're gonna move on. But
pay attention to What If, everybody. Pay attention to What If.
Oh my god, pay attention.
Just watch What If. But what I was saying about the heartstrings, like, they know how to. There are lines that are being given, certain things that just really just make you sit down and be like, damn. Like, I remember Black Panther had just finished its couple month run in the theater, and then they were going straight into Infinity War. And then at the end of Infinity War, he gets dusted. And I remember a partner of mine I went to school with, he was like, damn, we had nigga heaven for like 4 months. And they take it right
back.
But boy, when Infinity, when that portal opened up, and he was the first to walk through, every person in that theater lost their shit. They were just, my wife was like, finally. I'm like, I know that nigga wasn't dead. You don't put him out like that. That's how it works.
Oh, what the fuck?
And I mean, but it does. It tugs at your heart. And then seeing, in Infinity War, when you see Peter gets dusted and he's just sitting there, and people was wondering, this is something they don't know. This is how deep I'm ingrained in everything. When you seen everybody get dusted, they didn't hurt or anything, right? They didn't feel pain or anything. They just went to dust, gone.
Yep.
Peter, however,
Felt it.
he felt it. He felt sick. He like, I don't feel too hot. I don't feel good.
I don't feel good.
And people were like, well, how come he didn't feel it? Spider sense. His spider sense was on 10. So it was just really, it was something wrong.
And by the way, if y'all don't know, go back and watch when he came back from home, from the From Home movie. He literally says, I lost my spider senses.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard for him
to regain it.
It because he was just learning. He was just learning everything. He didn't know what to call it. He didn't know what to do. It was just instinct for him. So for it to be like kicked on the 11 like that, and then be dusted and come back, you'd be like, yo, you're trying to get your bearings at this point. And he's got it, but he don't know what to call it. That's what it is. You know, it was just Peter Tingle. Don't call it Peter Tingle, you know. But
the spider tingle.
Seeing him get dusted out, seeing him get dusted and then turn around and he comes back, and seeing him and Tony embrace, and it's like, yo, don't do this to me.
Don't talk. Oh my God.
And then they go from there. And I don't know if you've seen Falcon and Winter Soldier, but there's some stuff that goes on in there that Carl Lumley, shout out to Carl Lumley. He was probably the first Black live action superhero we've ever had on television, White Mantis. That was from the 80s, from the late 80s. And he's been about just everything in our childhood, Justice League included, because he was the Martian Manhunter too. But he plays Isaiah Washington in Falcon and Winter Soldier, and he talks about how he had the serum put in him, the super soldier serum. He has a serum put in him, and he did the exact same thing that Steve Rogers did in World War II. Only Isaiah Washington or Isaiah Bradley did it in Vietnam. And he says, well, we had soldiers trapped behind enemy lines. And I went back and said soldiers. And because of that, the government locked me up for 30 years, told my wife I was dead, and left me to rot. And people were like, that's fucked up. Because Steve Rogers did the same exact thing. And this is not against Steve Rogers. He was just stating the fact that, look at what they did to me. And this is why Sam felt like he had to give that shield up, because he felt like he didn't deserve it. And that's in what I'm getting at is that's how it is with our Black community. They try to ingrain in us that we don't deserve certain shit. And that was far from the truth. And there was stuff that goes on. I mean, they really know what they're doing.
Yes.
They know what they're doing. Even WandaVision is dealing with Wanda's trauma of losing vision. Captain America, Winter Soldier is dealing with PTSD, racism, trusting the government, and everything else. And Loki is dealing with self-acceptance in his progression as a character. They know how to write their characters.
And mental illness.
They know how to write their characters to where it's very much recognizable
in the culture.
In the culture. Oh, I can't wait till they do X-Men. This shit's gonna blow them out the fucking water.
Oh my God. They need to do this. I hope it goes back to Marvel. I know you said it's Fox Studios, but it needs to go to Marvel.
It does. No. Here's the beauty of it. Fox is no longer existent because Disney bought their ass.
Yep. Oh yeah, sure did. Yep. Because Simpsons and shit.
That's how they were able to get it. They got. It's not even called 20th Century Fox anymore. It's called 20th Studios or 20th Century Studios. They were like, they bought your ass so bad that you don't even know your own name.
Yeah.
They was just like, oh, you don't want to give us back the property? Buy their ass. Disney pulled your whole card. Don't fuck with the mouse. And they did. That's what they did. They pretty much
don't fuck with the mouse for
don't
real.
Fuck with the mouse. Mouse got long money, man. Mouse got long money.
Mouse got money on money.
Right. They went in there and bought that ass, and it was like, that's all right, because now that we bought your ass, we got all our shit back. Sony better watch it back. It's just a stipulation. It's just a stipulation in place that doesn't allow Disney to buy it. But all Disney really it's a loophole. It's a damn good loophole. They're like, oh, we ain't got to buy you straight out. We can go to your parent company, buy them motherfuckers, and then you steal ours. They can do that.
And Spider-Man is pretty much already Marvel, so it's kind of like you already pretty much.
They're just waiting. They're just waiting. They're just waiting. All they did with Sony was like, look, allow us to use Spider-Man, and in turn, you can still make Spider-Man films. You can still make like Venom and anything else, but we get producing credit, so we still get paid. Disney and Marvel still get paid off of that. So Sony was like, okay, that's not a bad move. We'll go ahead and we'll play nice. Yeah, you ain't got no choice.
You ain't got no fucking choice.
Because you ain't got no choice, because see, then it gets ugly. So they just like, all right, we can do that. We'll play nice, let you have producing credit, and in turn, you can use this character in Civil War and in Infinity War and in Endgame, but we get to make the solo films. Disney and Marvel was like, cool, as long as we get producing credits. So you can't have him do that because he's doing this for us. So you got to go this route. Boom, 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 boom. Sony was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. We don't want to clash it. We don't want to mess it up. So
they pretty much already pimping.
That's the deal.
They pretty much already pimping them. They just like, whenever we feel like,
you don't want to do that, baby. You don't want to do that, baby.
Already pimping them. Already.
Grooming them. That's what they doing. They grooming them. You see that 3/4 inch length on there? You don't want to mess that up. You don't want to mess that up. Yeah, they grooming them. That's all they doing. That's all they doing. And I think it's funny. They just buying their time. Like Disney was just like Marvel just like,
nah, we got
them in our back pocket. We can move on to we got all this other stuff we can work on. By the time they screw up, because Sony's going to screw up.
Fuck up. Yeah,
they're going to. This is why people were like, man, Marvel keep letting all these leaks out. That's not Marvel, and that's not Disney. That's Sony. Sony stay fucking up. They stay getting leaks out consistently. I don't know what they're. Remember
we should not know
War drop.
Here's the thing. We should not know anything. We should not know that you're trying to bring back all three Spider-Man, like all three Spider-Mans.
We should know that. We can speculate all day. We can speculate all day, but it was so poorly. I call it the worst kept secret in Hollywood. Because the first thing to give it away was when Jamie Foxx announced he was coming back as Electro. I'm like, okay, it happens. He can probably keep his job as Electro and whatever. But then Alfred Molina turned around on the red carpet and was like, yeah, I'm back as Doc Ock. And I can't remember what premiere it was that, because Kevin he was there, and he pretty much was like, yeah, some people can't, contain their excitement. And I'm just like, okay. So if those two are back, who else is back? And so that leak for that trailer got out, and and then that next day the actual trailer dropped. I'm like, y'all, because Sony, and this is before Marvel. This is before the whole Marvel stuff. Sony has always had like a leak issue. I don't know if that's their marketing ploy or what, but it's horrible.
Because now you killing the excitement.
You killing the excitement. I'm like, see now, and then now everybody's playing denial. Like, oh, Tobey Maguire's not in it. Andrew Garfield's not in it. I'm like, come the fuck on. You got
Well,
Alfred Molina, you got Jamie Foxx, you probably
keep
got
Andrew Garfield.
what?
Y'all keep Andrew Garfield. I don't want that. Y'all can keep him.
You probably got I'm sure you got. I'm pretty sure you got Willem Dafoe coming back because you showed the pumpkin bomb in the lab. Come on, we know you're there, dude. It's just the worst kept fucking. Meanwhile, over at Disney and Marvel, when Civil War dropped, everybody didn't know about Spider-Man until 2 weeks before the movie dropped. And that was in their and that was in their trailer. That was in their trailer.
Yep.
So that got everybody hyped. They're like, yo, they got him back. And nobody said anything else about the airport scene. Nobody. And then when you go to the movie to see the airport scene, everybody's so focused that like that Spider-Man's back. Nobody mentioned shit about Giant Man. They said nothing. Yeah. Yeah, they never said anything about him Giant. You didn't hear shit.
You didn't hear shit about Black Panther?
They didn't. You don't hear anything. You hear it when they want you to hear it.
Yep.
And it was just like, just a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. We ain't gonna give them nothing, just a little bit. And that's all they need to know. November 12th. I think that's their D23 day or something like that. And they're supposed to release a shit ton of information. This is through Disney. And so they're going to have, rumor has it that they're going to have a cast list for Fantastic Four already. Who knows? But news is coming. Because they already said Jungle Cruise is going to be free on Disney Plus now. Shang-Chi is going to be on there, that same day. They were actually planning that to drop a later date, but they said, like, no, drop it on that date. They know what they're doing over there. And as a matter of fact, somebody who was a stunt double for one of the Marvel characters, I can't remember which one. I think he was a Brazilian stunt double. He called himself leaking something out, talking, he's talking on the phone, whatever. He's leaking it out, like doing a video. Shit, you ain't have a job the next day. You about to lose your job. And he did. You lost your fucking job that next.
Yeah.
I was like, because they don't play that shit.
They don't play that shit.
They do not play. Like even when they did the full scene of everybody on set during the in-game battle, like it was a green screen, they showed everybody there. Chris Pratt had his phone. And he was recording everybody. Because this is what they do. This is what they do.
Yeah.
They record everybody, because it's a monumental moment. This is stuff happens. And Chris Evans looks at him, he's like, well, you're not supposed to have a phone, but he didn't leak it. He didn't leak it until well after the movie was released.
Movie was out.
It was well after it was released. It was some time. It was months.
I mean, they were talking about it. They were talking about it. He leaked it on like the TV show or some shit. It was like, what?
Like they had to get in Tom Holland's ass and they had to get Mark Ruffalo's ass. Like, y'all, would y'all shut the fuck up? Don't say nothing. We can't even fire y'all.
What?
Because y'all the stars. We can't even cut y'all from the team right now. But just shut up.
What Anthony Mackie said? He said the first thing about Marvel is you don't talk about Marvel.
That's it. The brother man got it. Brother man got it. He understands what's happening.
He's like the first thing about Marvel. The first thing you need to know about Marvel, you don't talk about Marvel.
It's like it's Fight Club up in there. It's Fight Club.
As that. It's like it is. It's really like
Fight Club. Like you don't talk about Fight Club. Who? What? Huh?
What? Who? What?
You in that new Marvel movie, Chris? What Marvel movie? I don't even know what the fuck you talking about. I ain't got no chance.
It's a lot of shit Marvel need to get back though. Incredible Hulk. They need to get the Hulk back.
They got it. Hulk. They got it. They have they pretty much has it. They pretty much have it because Paramount's not doing anything with Hulk. I think if it hasn't expired already,
it's about to.
It's about to be, and that's all because they're just like that's how they look at it. They was like, Like,
They gonna
okay,
fuck that
it's
up.
a year. Let's just say Paramount has a year to make a Hulk movie. All right. Well, it's so late in the game, they would have to get stuff set up, get production, get the storyboard, get the storyline written up, get the contracts going on it. They're not gonna. They don't have enough time. So at this point in the game, it's like if it hasn't expired already, it's about to be, and Disney's just like, we don't have to buy them out. We just wait
until you fall to us.
Yeah, because it's like it's a year away. We ain't even got to buy it. We just wait because you're not gonna make a movie in a year. You're not.
Sure not.
Just to keep the property, and when you're not, especially when you don't have plans for it, you're not gonna say, "Oh, we got to keep that. We got to make a movie here real quick because we got to keep the property." No, you're gonna have some shit like Fantastic Four.
Before I let you go, man.
No slight to Michael B. Jordan, because he actually played a pretty good Human Torch.
That was a terrible.
I was out, but the movie overall,
it was terrible. We should not have done it. They should not have done it. I don't know what the hell they were saying.
I knew it was bad. I knew it. I can't remember what other Marvel movie was being filmed, but I remember the cast shooting a picture of themselves, and it was like, "Oh, we wrapped filming." I'm like, "You wrapped filming? We didn't know y'all were filming. That's bad." Like, how bad is it? Michael B. Jordan was like, "Look, this is just a check, man."
Yeah.
And he played the hell out of it to get the check. So I'll give him that.
Yeah, that it was a terrible. Why did they do that?
It was bad. I've often said this. I've often said this about this movie. I was like, with the exception of Michael B. Jordan, I said an even thing looked good, but one thing is one of the curses they had is they changed directors in the middle of the film. You can see the aesthetic in the middle of the film where they changed directors. Two, Thing wasn't wearing shorts or short pants or nothing, and I'm thinking to myself, like, he's comfortable walking around butt ass naked like that. I mean, you would think that, okay, you're human, and then this profound thing happens to you, and your body drastically changes. Okay, your inhibition doesn't go away. You're just kind of like, yo, can I get some clothes? I don't feel right.
I would say that about the first. I would say that about the first Fantastic Four movies. They made Thing be a human still. He was like still had human traits.
That's the whole thing. Yes. And the relationship between him and that Johnny Storm was amazing. Yep. It was the best thing about those two films was their relationship, because that shit was a mirror image of what goes on in the comics. I said it was perfect.
Him and Chris Evans.
Doom didn't look bad in that
Doom
version.
Did not look bad.
Doom didn't look bad.
Doom was.
I would have expected him a little more out, a little more aggressive, especially with an accent. But otherwise than that, he actually, I was like, if you had took that Doom, played him a little harder, you would have had the perfect Doom. Because I liked the look. I liked that aesthetic. It was kind of sleek. He had a sharp ass suit, Yeah. I'm like, shit, I rock that.
We gotta talk about this Batman trailer, man, because we talked about it earlier, but let's talk about this Batman trailer. I saw this and I was like, yo, this might be a really good goddamn movie. I'm like, wait a minute now, can they finally make a Batman movie that's not always compared to the goddamn Dark Knight? Which will never happen. You will never get another Dark Knight.
Several things. When they announced who was playing, I'm just like, the dude from Twilight, Sparkle Tits. That's who the guy we're getting. Robert Pattinson is not a bad actor.
He's not.
He's not a
just
bad
the first
actor.
time we saw him, and
it's just like, even me and my son were just like, they're scared to go in the sun because their skin shines like diamonds. What the fuck is this? This is how bad it was. I remember This is when Redbox was just coming into play. So I rented it. Redbox was just kicking off and everything. So I said, I'm gonna get this. Everybody talking about this. I've never read the books. I never read the novels. I said, let me get this. Let me get this first movie. All right. So I'm watching. Now, mind you, this is on the heels. This was some years after Buffy the Vampire Slayer was canceled, after Angel was canceled, all this other stuff.
Right? Which was my shit.
I got a thing for strong female heroes. I do. I think that's hot. So I see this and I'm like, this girl is whining all the damn time and woe is me and blah, blah, blah. What the fuck is this? So there was a scene where she was talking to her father because her father, I think his father was like a sheriff or cop or something like that in that time.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
And they were at the diner and they were eating. And I had to get up early for work. And I said, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to get up early and watch the rest of it because I didn't think it was that much of it left, right? Paused it. It was like, okay, I'm halfway through the film. Paused it, went to sleep. I had it on my PlayStation. I had it on my PS2. And no, it was a 3. It was a 2. Anyway, no, it was a 3. So it was a 3. It was a 3. And so I had to control in the bed. I fell asleep. Woke up. I'm like, all right, I shouldn't have that much left. I'm playing the movie and I'm like, I must have missed something. Because when I unpaused it, they were sitting in the diner where I paused it at, right? I'm like, I missed something. Like, what did I miss? So I'm looking, I'm like, how the fuck did I? Dude, I rolled over on the control and it played all night and it landed on another scene where they were in the diner. I'm like, what type of shit? So when I rolled back and rewound it all back, and I'm like, this shit is boring as fuck. This is stupid. And they kept bringing you in. Every time they came out with another one, like they really got you when old dude turned into a werewolf. When he turned into a wolf, they got you on that scene. Like when he's sitting there 1 minute and then he just kind of jumps up in the air, changes and lands in front of. I'm like, yo, it looked like it's about to go down. Let's rent it. Wrong.
Like,
wrong again.
You're so wrong.
I'm like, damn it.
So this got my down. Fuck it.
got it all again. So the third time, that third one dropped. And my son, he went. It's now his wife, but at the time they were dating, and they went to go see it. The third one because his wife is into it. She loves that stuff. So he was just like, Dad. He's like, why Bella all of a sudden not only is she a vampire, but now she can fight. I'm like, they waited 3 movies for her to get that. I'm like, shit.
I done fucking gave up. I done fucking gave up.
It's like, man, I was so bored. I was so bored with him. But yeah, and he like the whole thing with Robert Pattinson because I've seen him in other stuff, and I'm like, dude's actually a good actor.
He's a really good actor. He's a really
and actor. So I'm like. So that's what's winning me over. I'm like, I will give you a chance because I know your acting is really good. So at first I was kind of apprehensive, but I was the same way with Heath Ledger. So I've learned to like take a step back and really take note. So I'm watching it, and that very first teaser trailer they gave us, and he hauls off and like, who the hell, who are you? And he just hauls off and whoops dude's ass.
Yes.
I'm like, we might be on to something. I'm like, we might be on something here. So then DC Fandom has and I'll be talking about it on the show tomorrow night. But they dropped they had their whole news stuff going on and movies that they're going to drop and everything else. And then they showed that. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, yo, this shit looks really fucking good. And I like the fact that this is like a year 1, year 2 type of storyline. So he's really rough around the edges. He's like, he has a death wish. He's like slightly out of control. He hasn't balanced the whole Bruce Wayne Batman aesthetic yet, because it's just like is right now is melded all into one type of guy. I like this look. I like that scene, and that's Penguin that's driving that car. Colin Farrell. Nobody knew that was Colin Farrell. All that fucking makeup
That's
to
Colin
make it.
Farrell?
That's
I thought it was
Colin
Jonah
Farrell.
Hill. I thought Jonah Hill was supposed to be playing Penguin.
If it
But
no, that's Colin Farrell. That's Colin Farrell.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and
Colin Farrell's a fucking beast, man.
Yo,
I had no
I'm like,
clue.
I've never said that. I was like, that was like Colin Farrell where? And they showed him in them, they showed the side by side makeup at the first teaser trailer from a couple months ago. I'm like, Colin Farrell wearing it. He said in the article, in an interview, he said this cast didn't even know it was him. That's how good the makeup was.
Yo, I swear to God, I did not even know this was Colin Farrell.
And then he's busting out the daggone little accent and everything else. They didn't know that was him. They was like, where's Colin at? It's me. Hello, bitches. You know.
Oh my God.
But when he sits there, that scene where he sits there and he's like, I got you. Like after he calls that explosion, and the car comes blowing
he drives
through.
off. He's driving off. He's like, yeah, I'm good. He look back, and then the motherfucker just.
I don't know if it was. I don't know
God.
if the car flying through the fire plus the music score did it. I don't know.
That shit did it for me. I don't know about you, but that shit did it for me. I was like, yeah. He was like, I got him. He looked back. That motherfucker just jumping out the fire.
Rear-ended the shit out of you. And caused you to spin. Caused your shit to spin out and flip over. And
then he just walk into your car like, I'm about to kill you.
But this new trailer really shows just how reckless he really is, because that scene where everybody's shooting at him, you know, yeah, Batman's suit is bulletproof, but the Batman we know now, he's gonna still avoid the fire, the fire from the guns and everything. It's just the suit. Yeah, he's just like
he's walking through the fucking bullets. Like I'm like,
yeah, they're just firing off, and he's like, he's not taking any care whatsoever. He's just like, no. The Batman we know uses the suit as the bulletproof as a precaution. You know, because he wants to lay hands, but he ain't trying to take that hit too.
Yeah, man. This is why I think this Batman has a chance.
It does
to be considered in the conversation.
And this is one of those things where it really does not have to connect with anything else. They said this one is about 3 hours long, and it kicks off like it's like a detective noir type thing, which we never really got from any Batman. We never got that detective side, that black noir, that, you know, that trying to find the clues and everything. We never really got that from a live action Batman. And I think we're getting that now.
And this Batman, man, for a lot of people don't know, Gordon's gonna be black. Jeffrey Wright. Oh,
Jeffrey Wright. This is his year.
Such an amazing actor.
First he's Uatu the Watcher. Now he's Commissioner Gordon. You know.
He's in the new Barry Bond. He's in the James Bond movie too. Like,
yeah, James Bond. Like, my man's all like, yo, Jeffrey
Wright.
I remember you were Peoples and Shaft, man. He was Peoples.
He was Peoples, man.
He was Peoples. Yo, but
touched Shaft the wrong way. His ass got locked up.
Yeah, I'm like, this nigga crazy.
You didn't touch me. You going to jail.
You're right. But yeah, I mean, people were like, man, Commissioner Gordon black. And I'm like, don't just ride with it. Let's see where this goes.
Particularly.
Really, because see, now this isn't one of those situations like, and I hate to bring it, but it's not like the Fantastic Four film with Michael B. Jordan, where why did you make the character black? You know what I'm saying? They made him black, they made his father black, and they made Susan Storm the adoptive daughter. I'm like, is there a reason why you did that? You know, is this trying to make inclusion? Because you didn't need to do that for these characters.
Yeah.
In this
especially at that
particular
moment.
case, yeah, especially at that moment. This is one of them things where it's like, no, I like this for a reason. Because once again, great actor.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see where this goes.
And I like the fact that they actually are going to introduce Catwoman right out the gate. You're not going to hold her for like 2 or 3 films and then put her in. Shout out to
let me talk
Zoe
about
Kravitz.
Let me talk about Zoe Kravitz. First, let's talk about Lisa. Let's talk about Lisa Bonet, Zoe Kravitz, and Jason Momoa. Real quick. There is no way on earth Lisa Bonet still fine, hands down.
Good guy.
How do you land a nice looking dude, have a kid who's fine as fuck? Zoe Kravitz is fine. Then y'all get divorced. You turn around and marry Jason Momoa. I'm like, yo, the DNA pool. That's insane. That's too much fine and pretty and cute and everything. Like, how did you do like Lisa Bonet, you to go? Jason Momoa, you married your crush, so you to go. Like, and then y'all cool with the ex-husband.
Zoe Kravitz is so damn fine. That's just ridiculous.
But she is.
When she was like an X-Men, the first class X. Oh my god, I fell in love. I was like, oh my god,
she's beautiful. She's beautiful.
I was like, and then I found out
I knew she
like,
was gonna go somewhere though, and it wasn't because of her looks. It was just like, no, this girl, she got some chops. She can do some stuff.
She can act.
And it's showing. And yeah, you. But this is the beginning. This is looking like a year 1, year 2 type of Batman.
I hope so, and I hope by the end of this, I don't know when you bring him back, but I think they need to bring back Bane one time. I don't know when you bring him back. I don't know when you bring him back, but I do know you need to bring him back.
Because the fact that you have in this film, you have Paul Dano who's playing the Riddler. You have Colin Farrell playing Penguin.
As long as you don't bring back Freeze, we all good.
Yeah, you don't need the Joker right now. You really don't. Because what I've been seeing, and I'm like, this is nice. We need something. We need a change of pace. We finally are getting it. And they're finally. This looks like they're doing something right, and they might just have to say, let's not tie everything together yet, especially with the Flash trailer, which thank God for the Snyderverse of Justice League, we got a way better Flash. Because that other version we got, that he looked like, you ever see a toddler run through the house? That first version of Justice League, that's how Flash was running. He ran like he was a toddler. I didn't understand, and I couldn't even make a good excuse. Like, I couldn't even defend that movie. But in the Snyder cut, we got a way smoother look. He didn't look all crazy when he ran. Everything was just better. So now we're getting what looks like Flashpoint, because there's a screenshot of Ezra Miller as the Flash we know, another Ezra Miller as Flash with a Batman suit on, painted red with a different logo, with the Flash logo.
Mm-hmm.
We have a different Supergirl on the other side. We have Ben Affleck playing Bruce Wayne one more time. He redeemed himself. Great Batman, by the way. In my eyes, Ben Affleck. And Ben Affleck redeemed himself in my eyes as Batman in BVS, because the scene where he goes to save Martha, fucking amazing scene. I say this is a Batman who's been around for a while, and he's brutal as fuck.
And that's why I like this Robert Pattinson one, because I think that like you said, it's darker. It's not like that. Like Dark Knight is dark, but you have moments where he's kind of like the first movie. You can tell he's still a playboy, philanthropist, like he's still fucking around.
Yeah.
I didn't see that in this trailer. I didn't see the fuck around.
No, because see what I'm seeing,
all that shit.
I'm seeing this rich kid who is still on the edge. Like I said, he hasn't balanced out those two identities yet. He is the same in and out the suit. Like he's Batman in the suit. He's Batman when he's Bruce Wayne. He still is. It's scenes where it looked like this nigga ain't even go to sleep. Like I'm just up all night, all day. I don't give a shit what's going on. I just need to take out crime. If I die, I die. That's the look he got. The Ben Affleck version.
He look older.
The Ben Affleck version. Yeah. This one is older. He's seen some shit. He's balanced it out. He knows what to do. He's a little smarter. He's a lot smarter, actually. But he's getting up there. He looks like he's in his 40s. And let's face it, he could be well in his 30s, but he's a brute. And let's face it, you can't be at peak human condition, no powers, and go out here every night busting heads and you taking hits. That shit leaves some marks on you after a while. Yeah. Like you start creaking by the time you're 37 years old, you start creaking and shit. You might be creaking earlier than that. So considering the fact you going out there every night, you can't drop that superhero pose all the time and land perfect. One of them times you roll an ankle here and there, busting knee, something. So but it does, man. It's amazing what they're doing, and I like what they're doing. But then they brought back Michael Keaton to play Batman from Batman '89. That is what sold me. I'm like, oh, we doing Flashpoint. That's what we're doing. We're getting ready to do Flashpoint now. So I got hopes for this one because I think this movie, much like the animated Flashpoint and the comics Flashpoint, I think this is the one that will reset the DCEU. And we know something, because if it does, because they do, and I think this is probably their out. Like where we because they said they announced the Wonder Woman 3. They obviously they're doing the Aquaman 2. They're doing the Shazam 2. They're introducing Black Adam. So I think this is where they
still gonna do Static Shock. I know that's
still doing. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan's doing Static Shock. He's doing that one. And so I think this is WB's out to say, okay, we got a chance to reset everything. So that way, when we introduce certain characters again, it's not forced.
And I think, not like the George Clooney one, but I think you need to bring back Robin. Not like the George Clooney one.
If they do, not the George Clooney one. No.
If they're gonna do one, do you think? I know they got the Titans show, but do you think they need to do like a Robin movie by himself, or is it like?
If they do, I would prefer the one from Titans.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
I actually kind of like, because he's Nightwing now, and I actually like how he is. I like this version. I like this Robin. I like this Robin. It's a nice change of pace. I'm in love with Starfire. Anna Diop, if you were ever going to hear this. And Damaris Lewis, who's playing Blackfire, I'm tell you two sisters something. You look lovely. Listen to my voice. You look lovely, my dear.
I don't want to go with that. We're just going to hit it right there. Yo, we're going to hit it right there.
Oh, you look. You can hear all this kind of craziness on Blerdseyeview. We do not. Man. We don't hold back. It's not a kid show. We talk about comedy, talk about TV, film, all that stuff. But it's not for kids. We are no holds barred. Just like what the shit. We are no holds barred. But we have fun. If you got cosplayer, person of color, a POC cosplayer, artist, writer, whatever. We have that platform. That's that safe space for y'all. That's the safe space.
I will be on
That's
their
how we do it.
podcast soon.
Yeah.
Soon. We will be talking about 80s, 90s cartoons. I will be on there, but one
It'll
more
be a
time.
part two. It's gonna be a part two.
Oh,
Go listen or watch that last episode.
I will be
the
there.
last episode.
I don't know
it's
if
about
somebody
3 episodes back.
I don't know if anybody threw out Yu-Gi-Oh, but I'm throwing Yu-Gi-Oh out there because that's one of my shit.
Oh, Candy B throws out Yu-Gi-Oh anytime she get.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Look at you, Yugi.
Yo, the first two seasons of Yu-Gi-Oh. Mm-hmm. Comedy Gold.
Candy B got me what? Candy B got me watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Now she'll say, I didn't tell you to watch the show. I'm like, I couldn't help it. I had to watch the show because, granted, it's some soundtracks in JoJo that them joints is just, they real songs and they catchy as hell. Like they from like the 70s and 80s and stuff. Like, cause my son used to watch it. I'm like, what? I was trying to find out where that soundtrack from. He's like, JoJo is weird. And I'm like, I'll watch JoJo. Let's figure this out. I still ain't done with JoJo, but we'll figure this shit out. So
yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh, man, you gotta put Yu-Gi-Oh in its proper context. Yu-Gi-Oh for me as a kid was my shit. I love that fucking
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Oh,
I'm like, dude, that's a cheat card at this point in the game.
For real, like, dude had 3 of them. Like, what the fuck can you do when you got 3? And then when he merged them all, you lost.
Like, that ain't fair. That ain't fair. This shit ain't right.
you lost.
You turn around. Blue Eyes White Dragon. What the hell? Why?
Oh my god! I used to have the cards and everything. Oh my god! I was Yu-Gi-Oh hit.
We were Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, we've talked about the 80s and 90s shows. Honorable mentions was Power Rangers, and when we said Power Rangers, I think I was 16.
Mighty Power Rangers, right?
The original when Tommy Oliver was introduced, and me and Candy B often say that was the most fucking stressful week of our life. Tommy Oliver had us stressed. Like, what motherfucker can stroll into town, steal your girl, go into your Megazord, whoop all 5 of y'all's asses, kick y'all out the Megazord, got his own damn Megazord, don't need nobody to drive his shit, be busting out tunes on a sword. Yo, Jason David Frank was the GOAT though. He still is. My man still, But when he came on the scene, boy, even Kimberly was just like, Jason who? Because Jason was trying to get at Kimberly. Tommy came into town. Oh, that shit.
That was a wrap. That was a wrap. It's crazy.
My man had the pony. He was busting out the man ponytail and everything else. Jason all clean cut. Shit.
I was literally
had the shirt tied around his waist. New kung fu.
I was watching the Mighty Power Rangers movie like a week or two ago. Like when it first came out, I remember that movie. I literally remember that movie. I remember when I watched it as a kid being like, yo, this shit is so awesome. I was like, so.
You look at it now, you be like, damn, this did not age well.
That didn't age well as shit, man. That's just definitely
like, oh, that's how that CGI look. Oh, damn.
Yeah. I ain't watched the new Power Rangers movie because I just refused. That shit just looked bad.
I did. You talking about the newest version? I did watch it. Suits are nice.
Acting wise,
we did get a Kimberly and Tommy appearance though. We did get one of those. We got a Kimberly. It was like they was like where I was like they were dead center in the screen because it's the scene where like after the big fight and the Megazord is standing there and all the people in the town are taking a picture of the Megazord and they are dead center in the screen. They're the only 2 people. You can't miss them. It's a bunch of people and they're taking a picture of the Megazord because the fight is over, so they're taking a picture of the Megazord. And it was there and like it was teased like at the end of the movie, like the extra credit scene was they were all in school and they had banded together. They were like in detention or something together and they like passing notes. and the teacher, but the way they're passing notes, they're doing like, throwing, you know how you used to make the notes in school and look like a football with it, or
they were playing.
Yeah, and so they flinging it, but they catching it and doing all their ninja skills and catching the shit behind their head and everything. But the teacher is, because they're talking about meeting up later that night, and like the teacher is calling everybody's names and stuff, and then they's like Tommy Oliver, and then they show his desk is empty, and you see that like the green Letterman jacket and everything else, but then they show like Tommy Oliver. They don't show who he is, but they show like a locker room or bathroom, and you see this flashlight and something explodes, and then it just goes off, and you're like, oh, so we were gonna get Tommy, but that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, because that movie was terrible. They fucked that up. They could have easily found, like, that could have been a very special franchise. And
it could have been.
You threw it away again. I don't understand how Hollywood has the best idea for
I think they tried to change a little too much of the aesthetic. It wasn't the characters, because I think the Blue Ranger was a black dude, and he was on the spectrum. He was autistic, so he was on the spectrum, but he was really fucking smart. And then the Black Ranger I think he was an Asian dude, and they made a joke about that. He's like, I'm the Black Ranger. He was like, never mind. The Yellow Ranger was, you find out she was gay, but they didn't like shove it down your throat type of thing.
Yeah.
And Jason was, as a matter of fact, I don't know if you watch Stranger Things, but the dude that played Jason is one of the kids' older brother in Stranger Things. He's such an asshole. He was such an asshole. Oh, Stranger Things is great stuff. They should be starting their new season pretty soon. It took them long enough.
Yeah. I think it's like the last season, huh? The last season?
I'll be honest with you. It probably should be, because that show started when those kids was like 11, 12 years old. And that's a real crucial time for kid actors, because all it takes for you is to miss 1 year. And then you be like, just like with COVID, you miss 1 year.
They fucked that show.
And not only that, they had that growth spurt. Like the black kid that's on there, my man got a whole he got a whole ass mustache.
Grown ass man.
you be like, yo, he can't play 13 anymore.
He got a whole beard.
Busting out.
He got a whole beard.
Shit thicker than mine. So I'm like, but see, that's a crucial time when it comes to kid actors, because you got, like, if you don't catch it, old girl that played Hit Girl, the old girl that played Hit, Chloe
Grace
Moretz Grace. Yeah. They were like, oh, she's such a sweet little kid, and she's playing Hit Girl, and it's cute because it's a little girl, but she's whooping ass and everything else. I'm like, yeah, you better strike while the iron hot.
Hot, motherfucker.
Because you can't do that now. Because like after that second one, they couldn't do another one right away. They couldn't. And then she comes from a family. They said the people in her family, they got like a lot of legs. They're kind of tall. I'm like, oh yeah. She hit that growth spurt. It's a wrap. She's tall, she's like a model at this point. Consider her height. She's not like super tall, but just for her, that's not gonna happen now.
Yeah, I mean, man, I like Kick Ass. That was a good movie though.
Yeah,
they keep fucking up the time frames. They should have just like caught it right then, like you said, like right at the second one. You should have like figured out a way to kind of like
let's
give
lock
Hit
this
Girl
in.
her own spinoff.
Yeah, like, let's lock this in.
Yeah, she should have had her own spinoff by that time. Like should have had a spinoff last year. Like sometime after that second movie, like should have had a spinoff. Because she was kind of like the main character, really. Because that's the only reason why you really went and go watch the fucking movie, kind of.
Yeah, because you wanted to see how brutal she got.
She got fucking brutal, like
yeah.
Especially after her dad passed, like she about to get crazy with it.
Yeah, she did too.
Yeah,
Yeah, she did. But that's the problem with kid actors is like they hit that growth spurt. You know, I seen it in Lost, and it was the little kid that played Walt. It was the writer's strike. Hollywood had the writer's strike, and so I think that whole third season, after the third season, nobody had new shows. You know, you were just seeing repeats of shit, and they had the kid Walt, and I think Walt was probably 9 or 10 at the time, and the writer's strike went on for a while, and then once the strike was over with, because I think that took place over the summer, and once the strike was over with, then you figured, okay, now they got to get back into writing, they got to get back on set, they got to get back on shooting locations and everything else. This kid done hit what happens when the summer hit and then you done came back to school and it's like, yo, what?
Like, dude, what the fuck?
Like 5'3". You were 5'3" at the end of June. Here it is September, and you 6'2". You know what I'm saying? Like, they had to write the kid out the show. Cause it's like, yo, they're not gonna believe this kid is the same age. Yeah. Like, this kid, I couldn't even tell you what Walt looked like now. Walt could probably be the cat around the corner running the gas station. I don't know. Grown ass man probably sold me my car. I don't know. So it's crucial times for like kids like that age. You really gotta, you don't want to overwork them because they're kids. That's kind of going against the rule there, but at the same time, you got to have some kind of plan in place. Like, all right, can we do this? Can we shoot this now? And how soon can we shoot it? But when you have stuff like writer strikes, pandemics, and stuff like that kind of fall into play, it really does mess up the whole dynamic. And you're just like, okay, how do we write our way out of this? It's kind of difficult. I think like with Stranger Things, I think they had to turn on a certain dime because the way the third season ended, and they had to turn on a dime because they probably wasn't expecting to be a whole year, going on 2 years now, before I think they shot everything finally, but we're going on a year and a half. It's well over a year and a half. Certain that's hard. That's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, man. I mean, hell yeah. So I'm gonna let you go, man, but tell people they can find you one more time. Tell them about the podcast, man. This has been an amazing conversation. I love this type of conversation, man. You learn stuff, man, and you're like, damn. Like I said, you get to talk about things I want to talk about. Yeah. So I'm so happy, man. I know the episode coming soon. I know you gotta do it probably tomorrow with everybody.
Yeah, tomorrow night. Yep. Yeah. So you can check us out every Tuesday on the Blerdseyeview podcast on Facebook at 8:30 Eastern. You can also catch us live on YouTube, same time, because they go at the same time, so it's all live. Past episodes on the YouTube channel. You can check out the IG page, which is Blerdseyeview. That's all one word. If y'all seeing it, it's all right there. Blerdseyeview. You can check the link tree, because if you go to the IG page and go to the link tree, the Blerdseyeview link tree page, it has the IG page, it has the Chris.Fury1 IG page, it has the TikTok page, it has the YouTube page, it has the Apple Podcast page, it has the Spotify podcast page, or audio podcast page. So we are on IG, YouTube, Facebook, Apple, Google, Spotify. Just look up Blerdseyeview. Yeah, we're pretty much everywhere. We're pretty much everywhere. Got a website. That website is currently being updated, but we got a website, which is blerdseyeview.org. So that's getting updated. It's well past being updated. That's all on me though. My hands is consistently stirring some kind of pot. You can catch me Mondays on TikTok doing motivational Mondays. I do motivational Mondays every Monday under the Chris.Fury moniker, and just kind of brighten people's day. And pretty soon I'll be doing like character breakdowns for all types of comic book characters. I believe I'm going to be doing Adam Warlock. Not a lot of people know who Adam Warlock is. And since James Gunn announced that Adam Warlock will be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I think I need to start there and then move on to the Eternals. So yeah, you can catch me doing that every other Friday, because I don't think I'm doing it this week. I do a Blurred wrap-up on IG. Sometimes I do it from my Chris.Fury page, Chris.Fury 1 page. Sometimes I do it from the Blerdseyeview page. But sometimes I do like the Blurred wrap-up of what's going on that happened at the end of the week, and sometimes I have a guest.
Yeah, I started doing a podcast recap myself. I started learning from y'all because I was like, yeah, I need to do a podcast recap. Yeah. just in case somebody forgets.
Yeah, we get it in. We get it in. You can catch Candy B just finished. She just finished wrapping up her first season on IG, which is Candy B, Candid Convos with Candy B. Say that 3 times fast. And then you can catch me in DC and our partner Courtney on What the Shit every Wednesday. So yeah, we are we hustling. Yeah, we work. We stay on. We are literally team no sleep. Like there's stuff that I pop up with, and I'm like, let me shit this in the text, and then that's when Candy B was like, Chris, it's like 3 a.m. I'm like, read it in the morning. Probably up frying chicken anyway. We always tease her. We always tease her about frying chicken late at night. I'm like, why are you frying chicken? And it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I was hungry. I'm like, who the fuck's hungry at 2 in the morning?
I be hungry at 2 in the morning. I'm not gonna lie. I be hungry at 2 in the morning. I be hungry as shit. I made some noodles.
We've done that to her before. Like, I'm like, I'm sorry. Did you just fry chicken? What time is it? Me and DC's like, wait a minute. That's kind of heavy, ain't it? Not warmed up chicken. You fried, like you literally.
This shit is real.
You didn't fly. You slapped it in the oil. You went in. That's my girl though. That's my work wife. She'll kill me. But yeah, we've been doing this for over a year now. The 3 of us. I've done Blerdseyeview. It's a year and a half, but the 3 of us have been banded together for over a year now, and we love it. We're LLC now, so we'll be pumping out some more equipment, or not more equipment. I'm getting more equipment, pumping out more content. We are working on another deal, so that'll be coming dry pretty soon. So yeah.
Man, I'm very happy, man, that you came on here today, man. Thank you for your time, man. I appreciate
thank you.
it. And y'all better go catch this whole podcast. You are with us on this podcast life that you love comic books, or like everything that has to do with just being an amazing, like just listening and watching Marvel, DC, just all the great things. Also, y'all talk about games. I know too. Y'all talk about games.
Gaming. We got gaming.
So
yeah.
So I mean,
DC's our gamer, so he's our big time gamer.
Yeah, I'm looking
DC is our gamer. Candy B is our anime person. I'm the comics, TV, and film guy.
Perfect match. See how 3 of y'all can laugh and just figure that all out. Man, y'all better go listen to this podcast. This is an amazing podcast. Thank you again, man. Chris, thank you for even coming on here, giving me your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
We are, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the BrandonJaneauShow. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace.